And I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones.
And joining us today is Alex Mandossian, internet marketing pioneer known as the Warren Buffett of the internet. And he has helped clients generate over $360 million worth of sales since 1991. But you know what? When we talk about success, it's not all about what you do, the hands-on stuff. There's another component. It's the inner world, the mindset, the attitude, the things that are going on behind the scenes. So Alex, what kind of attitude, what kind of mindset did you have that has allowed you to succeed so much?
I come from a set of assumptions that we never really grow up. We just learn how to act in public as adults, and some of us don't even know how to do that. Yeah. I think that we're grown-up children and identifying the issues during our imprinting years, which my kids have gone through, between 3 and 7, 3 and 8, who we crave love from most, our parents or parental figures. That defines how we do business many times, and that creeps into our mindset without even knowing it. So the goal in mindset is to be self-aware. If there's an assessment tool like we have at Marketing Online, find out how you're assessed and go to multiple types of tools to become self-aware, because the first step to healing anything, if there's a problem, is awareness.
Okay, so that assessment tool tells people what?
Tells them that they're one of 4 bias personas. Like you're a competitive.
Right.
So you're like George Washington.
Okay.
Actually, no, you're not like George Washington. You are like.
Well, I would not lie if I cut down the cherry tree.
But George Washington.
That story's true.
That is true.
Sure.
You're a competitive, and a competitive is someone who gets stuff done. Steve Jobs was a competitive, right? And you're not always a competitive. I know with your son Conan, you're probably not the same way you are in business.
Right.
But in business, you have to have a certain persona. There's also the methodical. Sometimes you want a CEO that's a methodical, very calculating, like in the software business. But other times, like in sales, you don't want a methodical. You want someone who's very vivacious. That's a spontaneous, right? And a methodical, you want your accountant, your bean counter, your attorney to be methodical.
You want your software developer to be
or your webmaster, right? And then there's the spontaneous, which is just out there and getting stuff done, and usually the sales type person, And then there's the humanistic, like Oprah Winfrey, and just very human, right? And that's why people love her. When Rosie O'Donnell took over the show, it failed because they were used to the humanistic approach, and Rosie is not a humanistic.
What is she?
She's probably spontaneous or competitive,
Okay.
So these are Myers-Briggs tools, but there's no end-all, catch-all. Just start doing self-awareness stuff, because many times people in any business, they're looking at the wrong thing. I'll give you an example. Do you want a pilot when you're flying at 30,000 feet? Do you want a pilot who loves to fly? Or do you want a pilot who loves to land?
I want a pilot who loves to fly but knows how to land.
Right. Well, I get to sit in first class a lot, and what happens is you don't hear any of that, the robot that is flying the plane, right? The computer, until it gets to 1,000 feet. Because it's getting closer, and it's less room for error.
Okay.
And then 500, and then it goes to 100. You hear it. It's 100, and then it goes 90, 80, and then it goes 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and then you don't hear anything because you've touched the ground.
Okay.
So you want more feedback the closer you get to danger, and so that people don't set up their businesses that way. The metaphor is they're going after something else, like they go after the money instead of creating the value. Money doesn't buy happiness. It can make misery a lot more fun to deal with, but but it doesn't buy happiness. And at the end of it, I've known billionaires who've taken their lives. Still having over $1 billion.
Why?
Because of mommy and daddy issues, as far as I can tell. They define and they make rules on what success looks like. Okay. And they keep score in different ways. So your belief about what loss is different than his. And he's not around because his belief was such that even if I have $1 billion, I lost $3 billion. I'm a total and complete failure. Maybe he was embarrassed in front of his peers. Who knows?
Okay.
It's all relative.
So look, we all have these mental stumbling blocks. We all have these things that kind of hold us back from success. It might be a fear to move forward. It might be we're going forward and then, just this belief pops up.
Right.
So how do we get rid of that crap, get it out of our road so that we can keep moving forward without the blocks?
Find a mentor. So
Okay.
everyone needs a mentor, a teacher. In a spiritual tradition, whether it's Hindu, Buddhist, Islam, Christian, there's always a mentor figure, right? Who is an intermediary between source, whatever you call source, and you. So I have a mentor in marketing, and I have a mentor in spiritual practice. I have a mentor for physical fitness. And a mentor is different than a coach. A mentor is more like a sponsor in a 12-step program. I mean, you have a certain reverence. The one problem I have with the West is they don't look at mentorship or the elderly with the reverence that they do in the Far East.
Right.
Teachers in the East, like I have students that are like 80 years old and they bow deep because I am their internet marketing teacher, and it takes me aback. I get emotional. Like, why are you doing that? Because I'm their teacher.
Yeah.
So it has very little to do with age. And then the elderly, there's wisdom. Everyone knows tomato is a fruit. That's knowledge. But knowing not to put it in fruit salad is wisdom, right? So the goal is to honor your mentor and to have reverence, which is humility, because we're all going to have our last breath. So I think people don't find a mentor. All
right, so I can see you having a mentor for physical fitness. Someone who trains you to work out.
Yeah.
That's because you're not known as a fitness guy, but you're known as an internet marketing guru. That
Sure.
label's been pasted on you.
And?
So why do you need a marketing mentor?
Is Michael Jordan a better basketball player than I'm a marketer?
Probably.
Is Michael Phelps a better swimmer than I'm a marketer?
I believe so.
Right. Is Bolt, the 100-meter dash
Hussein
run? Hussein, right? And
Yeah.
my son does that. That guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Is he a better runner
What
than
a
I'm a
great
marketer?
name he has for being a runner.
Totally, right? They are better than I am at what they do. They're world class. They're Olympic champions.
But you're considered to be a world-class marketer.
I am. And I am that because I have a mentor,
Okay.
like they do.
Who's your mentor?
He doesn't need to give away his secrets.
No, I'll tell you because they deserve to know. Ivar is my mentor
Okay.
for physical fitness. Now, I'm more fit than he is.
It sounds like a physical fitness.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Your mentor doesn't have to be better. In fact, chances are your mentor is always not as good as you are. Your
Okay.
mentor is there for this is a mindset show, right?
Okay,
Not
yeah.
physical?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. I'm on the right show. So his mind is more physically fit than mine. Okay? My marketing mentor is Roy H. Williams, known as the Wizard of Ads, best-selling man. I don't talk to him all the time, but I study him, and he's there, for me, when I need him. He doesn't even know that, but Roy, you are. You're there for me.
Well, and Napoleon Hill used to talk about having mental meetings with mentors that
I do that
you
all the
never.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so explain that process for people that haven't heard it.
So what you do is you dispatch your feelings towards someone in history that you really, really admire. Let's say Mahatma Gandhi, right?
Okay.
Full effort is full victory. That's my favorite quote. Everyone knows be the change you want to see in the world, but full effort is full victory. That's what we do when we have a challenge.
Nice.
And so Mahatma Gandhi, the guy was an emaciated guy with a cane, and he was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he had the British Army on its knees because of his beliefs and principles. So I can ask him to move forward in my mind, right? And I can dispatch him to come to me and say, okay, what did he do? What do I admire and respect about him most? And then I could bring Abraham Lincoln. What I admire and respect about him most. Or Thomas Jefferson. Now, Thomas Jefferson was known for other things that wasn't so positive, like many of the founding fathers. They're human, right? So there are parts of these folks that aren't good. But in the area of the innovations that they did, they're tops. Steve Jobs, he wasn't liked by a lot of people. But in the area where he was really good, that part of him was worth mentorship. Roy Williams, a lot of people look at him as, crass and arrogant. I know him as someone who's introverted and easily wounded.
Okay.
But he comes across that way because he polarizes and gets his point. So it's not about the personality, it's about who you identify with most. And You summon these people in your mind. I do it in the morning and before I go to bed. And what would they do? And then I put them on my shoulder when I'm walking. Like sometimes I'm scared, like I'm going into a room, I don't know anyone, and they're better than I am at what they do. And at internet marketing, there's a lot of those, you know. So I'll summon, you know, 2 of my mentors and they'll be on my shoulders. And then maybe I'll have one on my head too, and then I'll feel a lot more confident. Now, it may seem silly, but my mind doesn't know any different.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
All right. So how would having a mentor help us overcome those limiting beliefs that hold us back? And sometimes we don't know what the beliefs are because they're subconscious.
Pain is inevitable.
Suffering is optional. I love that. I've got it on my fridge.
Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. I believe joy is not out there. I believe joy is underneath the onion skin of suffering. So you just pull it.
You unwrap it.
You unwrap it. So I'm getting rid of all of the suffering. Your mentor says, hey, you forgot that peel. You forgot that peel. You go. They don't even know what your joy is, nor do they care. You forgot that peel, you forgot that peel, you forgot that peel. A good mentor is someone who cares about you and is there when you need him. A good mentor shows ruthless compassion, tough love. A good mentor wants to be a mentor. Why? It's like the scenario where Dr. Bob and Bill W., these are the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, I know the story, is one was mentoring the other or sponsoring, and one of them said, you know, I'm never going to get sober. I'm a drug. You give up. He says, the other person said, and I think it was Dr. Bob who said, I'm not sponsoring you for you, Bill. And I may get it wrong. Sorry if you're in the program, but this is the story that I know. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. Right? To stay sober. Right. So a great mentor does it, and I mentor a lot of people. But you can't mentor thousands. I mentor 3 people. You do it for yourself to keep you honest, because you're going to see behavior in your mentees where they're reflections of you, but they're doing it and you're going, shit, I do that. Sorry. Shoot, I do that. I do that. So everything's a mirror, and a mentor gets to see him or herself better by mentoring someone else. So I mentor for me. And you want to mentor like that because it's self-serving benevolence. Does that make sense?
So both parties are improving through the mentorship process.
Both parties are improving, and you're sharpening the saw so you don't have to cut as much.
Okay.
That sounds good. Now, what about for someone who's kind of isolated? They're living in a situation where they're maybe in an apartment complex. Everyone around them would be not well qualified to be a mentor. They don't know anyone who would be a mentor. And basically, they're not able to afford a mentor, or they don't feel they're able to. How can someone be their own mentor? How can someone work on themselves in order to increase their success mindset?
Well, it's kind of like to hit a target, shoot first, and then call whatever you hit the target. So
that's cheating.
Well, no, that is playing a winnable game.
Okay.
See, most people play a game that's not winnable. Now, one of my mentors, Dave Buck, taught me this. He's the CEO of Coachville. He said there's 4 ways to play the game of life. You can refuse to play, you can pretend to play, you can, this is what a lot of women do. I have 70% women on my list. Play not to lose. Play not to lose. Play not to lose. What are you focusing on? Play not to lose.
You're focusing on losing. Why would you do that?
You play not to
I
win,
don't
I think.
Because
understand.
you play to win, that's why.
Okay.
So you're focusing on, you can't win playing defense. And then the 4th way is playing to win. Okay? Now, refusing to play, that's decisive. Pretending to play, what are you doing? I mean, you're wasting your time. And my time too.
Yeah.
Playing not to lose, we have to change your mindset. Playing to win is where you want to be. Now, you have to be playing a winnable game. Some people don't play a winnable game. They set up these rules that are so tough, you can't win. So shoot, whatever hits, that's the target. That's a good starting point. Hey, I hit something. I hit the ground. The bullet hit nothing, right?
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hit the haystack over there. It was supposed to be the target there. I shot an arrow. That's the way you begin. You actually shot. So playing to win is whatever I hit, that's the target. Now, if you play a winnable game, there's only 2 results. What do you think one is? Winning.
Yeah.
The other one is
Losing.
learning.
Oh, yeah, learning, yeah.
So I am a lifelong learner. Mistakes are great. The more I make, the smarter I get.
So this means I'm a learner.
This is learning. I don't know why this has got such a bad rap. I love L. In fact, if you write the word impossible down, can you see it? I write it down in my seminars. Impossible. How many of you believe this is true? And they go, I don't believe it. Really? I'm going to see that it's true for the next 5 days. You're going to show me it's not true when we tap into a vein that's really meaningful to you, right? So someone says, it's true for me in this area and that area. I don't know how to make money online, right? That's impossible. Okay, great. So it's all in the perspective that you see that word impossible, because if you can visualize it, can you just visualize IMPOSSIBLE, right? Picture an apostrophe between the I and the M.
I'm possible.
And then underline both words.
Yeah.
I'm possible. Every solution is a problem inside. Even a flu shot is giving you a little bit of the flu, right? So I know there's a problem and the solution's inside there. Whatever is suffering, whatever's causing you suffering, is a little trace of what you need to do to get out of it.
Okay.
And so that's how I look at mentoring. They have objectivity where you don't. They say, hey, you know what? You keep doing this behavior, and I don't think it's serving you very well. Like waking up at 10 o'clock in the morning because you don't want to work versus 7 o'clock when everyone else does.
Okay. So I think there's a couple of levels of things that hold us back. There's the beliefs.
Yep.
And then there's the fears. Now the fears are much more in our face. Everyone knows when they're afraid of something. They might not know they have a belief holding them back, but they know they're afraid. And the fears tend to be the stupidest things, like fear of failure, fear of success.
Right.
And the reason I say fear of failure is, well, first of all, you said failure is just an opportunity to learn. First of all, but also because they're afraid to fail, they don't do something, they've already failed, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then fear of success, why would you be afraid of success if that's what you want? So how can people overcome these fears and just blast through it and keep going?
Fear of success is a lot more insidious than fear of failure, because you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose family members, because you're going to go to a whole new level of thinking.
But you can bring your friends and family with you.
They don't want to go sometimes
Okay.
because they're afraid.
Yeah.
And fear of success is you don't have any more excuses. Now, there are people watching this right now. You may be one of them. We go, yeah, I know this. You're probably multitasking, shuffling papers, and yeah, I know it. But you had to hear it this way to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you're overlooking it. This is your time is right now, and you're maybe overlooking it. Maybe I'm getting your attention, right? If you're not paying attention, why are you watching? You're pretending to play. Refuse to play, that means leave. Play not to lose is you're playing defense. Like, don't be coy, it's okay, take your pen, play to win. I'm going to learn or win. So what happens with someone is if they're not getting the result they want, find someone who's already gotten that result.
Okay.
Steve Jobs had Hewlett-Packard and all the Silicon Valley folks. Larry Ellison gets a lot of results. He just won the America's Cup. He came back after being down I don't know how many races, and you just give an example. I remember there was a game against Notre Dame and USC. They're arch rivals. And Lou Holtz, who I know, and is a friend of one of my good friends, Harvey McKay, during halftime, I think they were...
Swimming with the sharks guy.
Yeah, exactly. They were, I think, Notre Dame was 30 points behind. And I don't know if the story is true, but it does magnify the answer to how and what you can do. Lou found all these clips of teams that were behind by 50 points, 30 points, all that came back in the second half.
Wow.
And he showed it to his team. And they saw the possibility. Sometimes you have to see the possibility. You ever see an inspiring movie? And you go, wow, that's possible, right? There's no self-doubt, like the crack in a dam and all of a sudden, right? Self-doubt is awful,
Yeah.
right? It's like a disease. So find someone who's gotten the result and has overcome it, just like lifting 500-pound bench press. As soon as someone did it, everyone did it. Everyone knows the mile.
The mile,
Roger
yeah.
Bannister.
Yeah.
4 minutes, everyone did it after that,
Yeah.
right? $1 million day, okay? I know John Reese, he's a friend of mine. He had, as far as I know, the $1 million day.
Yeah.
I made $1 million in 30 minutes,
Wow.
okay? I would have never done that if it weren't for John Reese's $1 million day.
Okay.
And now many people have made $1 million in a day.
Yeah.
So find someone who's getting the result you want, and that will be evidence that appears real. Now take the F out,
okay.
right? Take EAR. Put your ear to the ground, evidence that appears real instead of false evidence that appears real.
Right.
Take the F out, and then you see that there's truth there, and then do what they did.
Nice.
Very nice.
I like it.
Thank you.
Well, Alex, you're a wealth of information. Where can people learn more about you?
Marketingonline.com. I mean, that's a great domain.
Yeah.
Here's a great example. I wanted that domain. I wanted it in 2004.
Okay.
Someone had it. So I called him up and I said, do you want to sell it? He said, $30,000. I said, geez, I had $500 in mind, you know? And he said, I'll sell it to you for $600.
What?
So I thought,
Wow.
this guy's really playing small, right? I mean, that's what occurred to me.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. So I thought, okay, I want this domain. So I said, I'll pay $650 for it. He said, why? I said, because I think it's worth more than $600. So that was my way of giving back to the universe, right? I paid $50 more.
You tithed him on the.
I did some tithing. Yeah. So that's why marketing online exists, is because that gentleman played small, okay, whoever it was, but I built the value of marketing online. There was no value there.
Yeah.
I built the value. So that's why I don't feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
He got $650 that was worth $10.
Right, because he wouldn't have done anything with it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Alex.
much, Alex. I'm Heather Vale,
And I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones.
and we'll see you next time.